Good morning and a very warm welcome. You're watching JanataTelevision and this is the English Bulletin with me, Sushant. The top stories first. President summons National Assembly meeting, the Upper House to convene meeting this Friday. High-level Chinese delegation arrives in the capital, holds meeting with Prime Minister Oli. Protests flare up across the country, security forces prepared to contain violence. Trump signs COVID relief and spending package, government shutdown averted. And Liverpool settle for a draw against West Brom in the Premier League. Tottenham also held at Wolverhampton Wanderers. And now the news in detail. President Vidyadevi Bhandari has summoned a National Assembly meeting on coming Friday. The President has called for the Upper House meeting at 4 p.m. on January 1st at the Parliament Building, New Baneshwar, upon the recommendation of the government. The President called the meeting in accordance to Article 93 of the Constitution. A high-level delegation from China has arrived in Kathmandu to hold discussions with the government. The four-member Chinese delegation, led by Vice Minister of the International Development of the Chinese Communist Party, Guo Yezhu, arrived in Kathmandu in a special flight yesterday afternoon. Vice Minister Guo paid a courtesy call on President Vidyadevi Bhandari on Sunday evening. The team also met Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli later yesterday. The Prime Minister's Secretariat confirmed that the meeting was held at 8:30 p.m. yesterday. The two sides reportedly discussed about bilateral issues during the meeting. The Chinese team is scheduled to meet dissident NCP leaders Pushpa Kamal Dahal and Madhav Kumar Nepal separately today and then hold a group discussion with the Dahal Nepal faction of the NCP. The demonstrations have started to flare up across the country against the dissolution of lower house. Police force in the valley braced to meet the worst-case scenario. Demonstrations are taking place across the country after the dissolution of the House of Representatives. As the protests have escalated, mobilization of security forces has also been heightened. The Home Ministry has also instructed the security chiefs of all 77 districts not to leave the district yet. The ministry has informed that police and other security agencies across the country have been kept on standby. The security forces are on high alert considering the protests taking place in different places and the security challenges that may arise. Similarly, security vigilance has been heightened in the valley as well. As there will be more protest in the capital Kathmandu, the police have said they will increase the number of security personnel to prevent any untoward incident.
कार्यक्रमलाई हामीले सुरक्षा प्रदान गर्नको लागि एउटा योजना बनाएर एउटा योजनाबद्ध हिसाबले हामीले प्रहरी जनशक्ति परिचालन गरेका छौं र खास गरी यसमा कुनै किसिमको चाहिँ सुरक्षाको कमजोरीको कारणले अथवा कुनै यस्ता इन्सिडेन्ट नहोस् भन्नका लागि पूर्ण रूपमा हामी सजग भएर परिचालित भएका छौं.
Police have claimed that no incident has taken place so far in the valley, but said they are aware of possible challenges. 10,000 security personnel have been deployed in Kathmandu Valley alone. The police have also warned that the force will remain vigilant and strong and would be forced to take action against anyone found disobeying the rule of law.
जुनसुकै दलले एउटा विरोध प्रदर्शनको कार्यक्रम राखे तापनि उहाँहरूलाई अलिकति त्यस्ता कुनै पनि गलत मनसाय राखेका व्यक्तिहरूबाट घुसपेट भएर उहाँहरूको कार्यक्रमलाई कसैले बिथोल्ने जस्ता गतिविधिमा भएमा उहाँहरूले सजग हुनको लागि म उहाँहरूलाई एउटा अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु.
The general public is confused as the protests are increasing day by day due to the political situation in the country during the corona epidemic, and the streets are full of security personnel. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. Coronavirus has claimed 6 more lives in the country, taking the death toll to 1,825. The government yesterday confirmed 481 new cases of coronavirus across the country. The daily infection is the lowest in the country since several months. Following the latest round of tests, the total cases of coronavirus in the country have climbed to 258,181, while the number of active cases has dropped to 6,493 from the overnight tally of 6,749. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, altogether 249,863 infected persons have recovered from the disease in the country so far. Nepal is currently among the top 40 countries that have been most affected by the pandemic. The USA tops the list with 19.57 million confirmed cases, followed by India with 10.2 million cases. Coronavirus has infected more than 81.13 million people across the world and claimed 1.77 million lives. The government has announced a midterm election after dissolving the House of Representatives. Economic experts, however, have suggested the new election expenses can come as a major blow to developmental projects. The government has announced to conduct a midterm election on April 30th and May 10th next year. Financial experts have warned the nation in the current situation cannot bear the expenses of a new election. Coronavirus and the lockdown that followed has already taken a toll on national economy. In such situation, conducting a full-fledged election will create hurdles for development projects, the experts say. Financial experts have estimated a spending of more than 3 trillion rupees for the midterm election. Meanwhile, the Election Commission has started preparations for the midterm election. The expenses of lower house and provincial assembly election, last time excluding the local level election, had come to 775 billion rupees. The Commission, however, has no clear estimates regarding the budget of the upcoming election. The past elections were supported and aided by foreign funds. This year, however, the funds have also been halted by the coronavirus pandemic. This will lead to spending of budget allocated for development projects to conduct the election, according to the experts. And now the news from the economic front. Nepal Rashtra Bank will be selling treasury bills worth 2.10 billion rupees today. According to the central bank, such treasury bills will be sold through a bidding process. Treasury bills worth 100 million rupees will be sold for a maturity period of 91 days, the central bank informed. The said bills will mature on 30th March 2021. Similarly, treasury bills worth 2 billion rupees will be sold for a period of 364 days. The bills will mature on December 28, 2021. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back, and now the international news. US President Donald Trump has signed a coronavirus relief and spending package bill, averting a partial government shutdown. According to the BBC, Trump had initially refused to sign the bill, saying he wanted to give people bigger one-off payments. The delay meant that millions of Americans temporarily lost unemployment benefits. The relief package, worth $900 billion, was approved by Congress after months of negotiations. Iraq's capital, Baghdad, and other cities are at risk of serious power shortages after Iran slashed gas exports, the country's electricity ministry said on Sunday. Reuters reported that Iran had reduced gas exports to Iraq to 5 million cubic meters from 50 million cubic meters 2 weeks ago, citing unpaid bills. Iran also officially informed Iraq's electricity ministry on Sunday that it plans to cut shipments further to 3 million cubic meters. Iraq has lost around 6,550 megawatts of electricity, spokesman Ahmad Musa said. Iraq's daily consumption during peak hours of winter reaches around 19,000 megawatts, while the country generates around 11,000 megawatts, relying on imports to fill the gaps. You're watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. League leaders Liverpool squandered their chance to increase the lead at the top of the table as they drew at home to West Brom. Sadio Mane opened the scoring for Liverpool in the 12th minute from inside the box as Liverpool stamped their authority in the game. However, after failing to take numerous chances, the Reds began to lose the pace in the second half as West Brom came more into the game. Semi Ajayi scored in the 82nd minute for West Brom and ended the match 1-1 with both teams sharing the spoils. In other matches, Wolves found a dramatic equalizer in the 86th minute through Roma Saiz as they drew 1-1 with Tottenham Hotspurs. Earlier, Spurs led from the first minute of the game through a Tanguy Ndombele goal. The draw keeps Tottenham 5th in the table with 26 points. Liverpool, on the other hand, lead the table with 32 points. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin, and the headlines once again. President summons the National Assembly meeting, the Upper House to convene meeting this Friday. High-level Chinese delegation arrives in the capital, holds meeting with Prime Minister Oli. Protests flare up across the country, security forces prepare to contain violence. Trump signs COVID relief and spending package, government shutdown averted. And Liverpool settle for a draw against West Brom in the Premier League. Tottenham also held at Wolverhampton Wanderers. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.